He's going between his girlfriend Marcia Clay and Janice Messinger and Marcia Penno and Sherry Vetter. All between these girls, he's recognizing that his depression and his alcoholism is doing himself some damage. And he's beginning to call it quits. So anyways, he spends a little time up in Montana and also spends a little bit of time out here in Florida. And he basically moves back to San Francisco and recognizes, after a number of, we would say, bar brawls and difficulties with his women, that his life is no longer an option. And again, he wrestled with this for between 1983 and 1984, and seriously wrestled with it, and was unable to contain his depression, or maybe potentially his schizophrenia. He was definitely getting far more paranoid. He was in conversation with his, by the way, at this same time, he finally met his biological father, which was a boon to his emotional state. And his father outlived him a couple of decades, actually. His father Ben. But anyways, the bottom line is October. October 25th, 1984, he sends out a calling card to his daughter, stating that he'd like to speak with her. He also speaks to his first wife, leaves a message for his first wife, Jenny, and speaks to a couple of voice messages to a number of his friends. And he was doing his morning routine. He got up and poured himself a bourbon, uncorked a bottle of really bad wine, snapped open a malt liquor can, sat down at his desk and began to write. We're not quite sure what happened and what the time was, but within that morning, he just to back up a little bit, on his desk he always kept a revolver. And there was a beautiful window that he looked out of, which captured the bay in a gorgeous home. But anyways, at this point in time, he made it clear to himself that he would call it over. And he brought the gauge to his mouth and shot himself. And his daughter found him a couple of days later. We're not sure the actual date of his death, because forensics at that particular point in time were not key on. But what did he leave us? He left us exactly what Juju said these past two terms: a whole new outlet. An originator of the postmodern movement in poetry and in literature and novels. A realist and a fantabular. He was able to do many things with the little bit of writings that he did, and he did an awful lot of little bits. Only 3 of his things have not been published. And I know that from what I understand, the Brautigan estate is looking into getting them published. And again, he's no longer on the wane. He's on the way back up. And we're probably going to hear a lot more about him just because of the movement. Anyways, I want to end it with that. And Peter?
I want to thank everybody for coming. And
Our next one is going to be Henry David Thoreau.
we don't know that.
Yes. You made that decision last week.
Next week?
No, last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we made that decision next week.
Yeah. So, I guess we're going to do some Thoreau. I don't know who's going to be reading or participating in that one. We'll see. But, well, I want to thank Ian and Dan and Juju, and we're really happy to have been sort of graced with some readings by Dan and Juju, and I'm feeling drops of rain on me right now.
All right. It was fantabulous. Thank you.